Today we're going to be attempting to repair a toilet tank, which I've never done before. This particular toilet has a lot of original guts in it, dating back probably to the Civil War era, and so none of them have been replaced, and it takes a long time to fill, and the water level keeps decreasing every time you use it, so you constantly have to add water. It makes a lot of noise, sounds like it's always running. I don't know specifically which parts are the problem, so we got the kit from we got the kit at Ace, and it says it's universal, which means none of it's going to fit, but we're going to try this. And the guy at Ace said it's probably the flapper that's not sealed properly or that's leaking or whatever. So, and this definitely has a flapper. It seems to indicate that it's going to solve some, most, or all of the issues that this particular toilet is having. And of course, you can see right there, it's the easiest install. You know what that means? Next month, I'll make another video explaining why none of this worked and we have to replace the entire bathroom. The first step probably is going to be trying to figure out just how to work in there, how to get the water out, how to shut the water off. Is that a thing? I don't know. And then see if any of this fits and solves the problems. Sometimes the first step, just getting this package open is the most difficult thing. You need a machete and a pair of giant scissors and whatever. But in this case, this was the easy. Look at that! It's like magic. This is the easiest part. Look, and there's even instructions. We also have the benefit of having the dogs sort of watch me try to do this. And look how enthusiastic they are. So they're going to watch me and probably criticize everything I try to do, act like, they know it all. You can already tell there's a lot of attitude going on. Okay, so the first step was to turn the water off, and I was able to successfully turn the water off. So that's something, right? So yeah, step one, turn off the water supply and then flush. I was actually able to do that on my own. Remove old flapper and install new flapper with minimal chain slack. I mean, they make it sound like that, that will take, 2 seconds. I really, at first, had no idea exactly how that was going to happen because they don't really explain anything, but it sort of snaps off. So we got that far. And here it is. Here's the old flapper. You can definitely tell it's obviously a very old flapper. And it has this sort of what looks like sort of a toasted marshmallow thing on here. The new one doesn't have that. The new one is actually very cool and modern. It kind of looks like the Enterprise, doesn't it? But it doesn't have the roasted marshmallow, so I don't know. So right off the bat, I should just give up because I have incomplete materials. But I'm going to do the best I can and try to get this one on there. This one has a whole sort of assembly on here with numbers and dials and digits and stuff. It's going to let me make adjustments to customize the seal and the water level, which I think is very cool and is something that everybody needs in their life. All right, so I was able to attach the new flapper, but obviously if it's still in my hand, it means I had to take it off because there's another issue. One of the other problems was that the handle was loose and there was too much jiggle. So while I was in there, I tightened the handle, and when you tighten the handle, in the instructions, they want the chain to have minimal slack, but when you tighten the handle, the chain is so tight that the thing is not able to go all the way down into position, so it makes a good seal. So already, the chain is too short, so now I'm going to have to improvise. So I took the clip that's on the end of the old chain and attached it to the clip that's on the end of the new chain. I know, it's not very pretty, but it just might work. And that's the important thing. You want the toilet to work. So we've got the new flapper in place. We've got the chain and the fix to adjust the length. The handle is now nice and tight. The only thing we don't have is this marshmallow thing on the thing. Is the marshmallow, integral or not? I don't know. We're going to find out. All right. Well, of course, that didn't work. The tank just kept filling and filling and filling and wouldn't ever stop filling. So now I think what we have to do is make these adjustments and see if that will somehow, the instructions say rotate hole and band to open position. So you can see that's closed, right? So somewhere in here is the hole. But there's no easy way, like this thing turns, but this doesn't. So one is supposed to turn and then they're supposed to meet, but it's nearly impossible to move. What fun would it be if things just, you could just turn things and they would just like line up and fit correctly. This time next week, I think I may have figured out how to get this to line up with this. Then we can use this with trial and error. We're going to try every position on this thing once we get that thing to see when we can get the water to stop filling too much in the tank. So I had to go down to the kitchen and get one of those grip things and hold this piece while I turn this piece to get the hole to line up with the opening. So we got that. So there's an arrow, and then it lines up with the numbers, and then that should control the flow of the water in the tank. This is just fascinating, isn't it? Rotate dial to align with the next lowest number with the arrow, and then repeat all these steps each time. If the water still doesn't work, I don't know what else you guys were going to do today, but I can't imagine having more fun than putting this thing on, turning the water on, letting the tank fill, see that it doesn't work, flush it, turn the water off, take this thing off, adjust the thing one click, put it back on, turn the water on, let the tank fill. I mean, this is, you would have to rack your proverbial noggin to think of things that are more fun and exciting to do than this. Welcome back. So it's entirely possible that everything I tried the first day had nothing to do with fixing the tank. But it was part of the instructions. So today we're basically going to avoid any reference to the flapper and move on to the valve portion of the proceedings, which I've also been told is just super easy to attach. Disconnect water supply, remove mounting nut, may need wrench. Okay, not so bad. So just a little twist with the pliers, and there it is, the old valve. Gross. Twist upper half counterclockwise to unlock and pull up to fully extend. Okay, so there's the full length of the new valve. Place valve in tank. Capable of doing that. Place locked valve in the tank so refill tube has direct path to flush valve. Attach the tube to the flush valve with metal clip so water flows into the flush valve. Trim tube if kink occurs. It's got a little bend there, but I don't see anything kinky. Okay, so I reattached the water supply and hand tightened it. Here we go, the crucial test. Now it's time to turn on the water. Say a little prayer, sing a little hymn, chant a little chant. Hold on, wait for it. It works! I have made tank work! Okay, so just when you think we're all done, the one, so it's ironic or not, in my experience. The one thing that was fine to begin with, which was the handle, I'm like, why isn't it working right? And of course, the handle's broken. The one thing that wasn't broken when we started was the handle, and now, of course, we have to replace the handle. You would think that this, would be the simplest part of the whole thing, and it kind of is. But what's interesting is when you go to fit this together and test the tightening nut, it's supposed to be righty-tighty. It's supposed to be clockwise to tighten, but it's not. It's counterclock to tighten. What is that about? Isn't that against the rules of science? Isn't that against the laws of physics? Isn't that against everything you were taught since you were a child when you were trying to repair toilet tanks, as a 3-year-old? You knew, turn things to the right to tighten them. But no. So that worked. The tank is fixed. We didn't have to replace the flapper, and now we just replaced the handle, and so, and it stopped, and it works, and everything's fixed. Okay, so we're all done, and so what did we learn? That actually wasn't as hard, difficult, involved, and complicated as I originally expected. It was a pain in the butt. But it only took 3 days and 2 trips to Ace. My thumb hurts from tightening and untightening that stupid twist nut for the handle to get the old one off and to get the new one back on. It's painful. It hurts. My thumb hurts. And the dogs were good the whole time. It wasn't that expensive, and it would have been hundreds of dollars to get a plumber. I was told that this is actually pretty easy to do it yourself, and so eventually I was able to do it myself. And so if you know what you're doing, like if you've done it before, the whole thing probably takes only 20 minutes, and it took me 3.5 days, but the important thing is that I didn't break anything, and I didn't cause a flood, and I still got done today in time to have lunch. So it's certainly doable to fix it yourself. And if you don't have 3 days, I would, I would call someone. But don't call me. Call someone else. Adios.